And then I woke up laying in the snow in the middle of the gazebo. And so I just got up and went to lunch anyway. Anyways, I'm Mike.
I'm Jim,
And this is the Fanboy and the Hater.
a podcast about the best and worst in movies, TV, and pop culture.
Jim, what would you do with telepathic powers? Never mind, keep it G-rated.
I was about to say, what's the rating of this episode?
I'm reading your mind, and I'm guessing you were underwhelmed, or maybe whelmed, with Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Even though it's the wrong universe, I would have to say I was whelmed. I would have to say that the third act saved this movie. So like you said, Spider-Man Brand New Day, I really went into it with very low expectations. When we podcasted about Spider-Man No Way Home, as I had said in that episode, I did not think that that was a good movie, but it was undeniably entertaining fan service. I wasn't really sure where they were going to go from there, so I wasn't really sure what to expect in this movie. And I uncharacteristically avoided spoilers and trying to find out what things were going to happen, which probably made this movie in part better for me.
Ha! Sorry. You're always saying how spoilers don't make movies worse or better or anything for you, and I keep saying, no, it's better to just experience the movie.
But having said that, the third act saves this movie. I was not enjoying this movie very much, but the third act saves this movie for me in the sense that it turned it into, I would say, an okay plus movie. What do you think?
So we kind of went opposites. I liked the movie. It probably wasn't as good as it could have been. To me, it feels like they shoehorned Spider-Man into a movie that wasn't for Spider-Man, but then it ended up working. And where I say we're opposites of, like, you'd said before we started recording that you like it less now after thinking about it, and I like it more now after thinking about it, which is kind of weird. It's not usually that way between us. But yeah, I think this movie, I think it was good. I think some of the characters and some of the plot line was kind of forced into it. But the reason I ended up liking it more later was when I started thinking about it, and I started thinking about Spider-Man in this Spider-Man movie. And I think this is the most Spider-Man-y and Peter Parker-y a Spider-Man movie has ever been.
Ever, or just Tom Holland?
Ever. And this is coming from somebody that really likes like the comic books and stuff. Like not just the movies, not just the cartoons, but also the comic books.
My only hesitation is to where it's set, because we're out of high school Peter Parker. But I do think that this is one of the better Tom Holland Spider-Man movies for me. But because I do think that the movie was reasonably well acted, and kind of to your point, I do think that the Spider-Man and Peter Parker aspects of this movie, as long as you can overlook plot holes and convenient storytelling, is pretty good. But I couldn't help, but the reason that my opinion went down after the movie is I couldn't keep shaking the question of, why can't we have just a Spider-Man movie? Because there's so much that's not Spider-Man. To your point, it's like, oh, it seems like Spider-Man was shoehorned into a movie that's not about Spider-Man, but then kind of became about Spider-Man. And I guess that's what it was tripping me up a lot. It's like, if you pull out a lot of the non-specific, I mean, they do, like I said, the third act saves it for me, because it does get folded together well. And we'll get to it. The spoiler alert, the Jean Grey of it all really tripped me up, both in watching the movie in theater and thinking about the movie afterwards.
Yeah.
So that's why, to me, it's like, it's almost a good movie for me. It's not it's not bad. It's like, I have no interest in seeing this again, but I didn't think it was bad. But to me, I would say, okay, plus. It's knocking on the door of being a good movie.
I think it's going to be one that I'll enjoy watching multiple times, but I think the more I watch it, the less I'm going to like it, because I think it's going to end up just bland.
To be perfectly honest, I don't think I have ever watched a Tom Holland Spider-Man movie more than once. Including No Way Home. I saw it once in the theaters. We podcasted about it. I have not seen it since, and I have no interest in seeing it. But I don't believe I've seen, Homecoming and Far From Home were the other two. I'm pretty sure I only saw those once as well.
And this is Spider-Man, your favorite character.
Spider-Man's my favorite character, and I do actually think that Tom Holland does a good job generally with both Peter Parker and Spider-Man. It's kind of like the Batman, like how you say that Val Kilmer is the best live action Batman because he did good enough as Bruce Wayne and good enough as Batman. He's not the best Bruce Wayne, nor is he the best Batman. I have the same feeling about Tom Holland. I don't think he's the best Peter Parker or the best Spider-Man, but I think he does good enough at both that when you put them together, I think that combination is better than the other actors who have played in live action.
So prior to this movie, that was exactly my thought. I always thought, Tobey Maguire made a good Peter Parker, terrible Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield, great Spider-Man, fantastic Spider-Man, terrible Peter Parker. Tom Holland, pretty good at both. I think this movie, and that's why I say it's the most Spider-Man-y and Peter Parker-y, I think he stepped it up in both cases. You kind of gave me a look when I said it's the most Spider-Man-y, and you're like, well, I mean, he's an adult. Most of the comic books, he is an adult. Like, he started as a teenager, but he grew up at some point. And there is a whole lot of, like, and you see it in the Tobey Maguire one, too, of, like, he does. He's got a shitty apartment because he can barely afford rent. Everything about his life just falls apart anytime he starts to get any part of it together. Like, all that kind of stuff. And it's shown on this. Like, he's lonely. He can't get his shit together in his personal life. Peter Parker always suffers. And the more he's Spider-Man, the more Peter Parker suffers. Which then leads up to Spider-Man No More, which I'm sure we'll get there at some point in another movie or two. But then also in this one, when he is Spider-Man, like the way he moves, the way he fights, the way he's doing things is much more Spider-Man-y than before. Because before he was kind of Iron Spider.
There were brief remnants of that in this movie. Which was one of the things that was a minor irritation for me.
But that was a thing in the books too. Like, he was a scientist, and that was a thing. Like, he always did kind of tinker with things, try to improve on things. He would, like, make specific things to fight specific villains, kind of like Batman. He would do those things, and I think this is the first. It's not the first. I think this movie did it well of him, like, working on trying to improve and make things better and keep moving forward.
Having Evie, the AI and the heads-up display and stuff like that, I also know part of that is just that in contemporary times, it would just seem weird for him not to have that.
Especially when he had it before.
Exactly. I mean, it got lessened after Tony Stark died. So they made that transition where he was very much Iron Spider, which is one of the things I didn't like early on in Tom Holland's run. So he's a little bit closer to your friendly neighborhood Spider, but with a lot of tech, which we'll get into. But yeah, I don't completely disagree. I mean, like I said, I think Tom Holland did a good job of acting as both Spider-Man and Peter Parker in this movie.
Yeah.
I think I may
have used a few more quips, but
yeah, again, I think I may have been struggling both in theater and out of the theater with the non-Spider-Man aspects of this movie. It didn't bother me as much afterwards, but in theater, the movie did not do this. I really fear that the entire movie was going complete, because like once we got the new Avengers, I mean, Elena's brief appearance in there, and then it's like, and then Jean Grey is like, oh, okay, this is like, they're just using this as an in-between movie to set up things that are coming. It's not what they ended up doing. But
actually, I think that is what they ended up doing.
In some aspect. I mean, they're also setting up some Spider-Man type stories. But for a second there, I thought the entire thing was just going, oh yeah, he was Spider-Man. Now we're just connecting this to what's coming next. Because I was really concerned with like, No Way Home could have completely just written Spider-Man out of the MCU entirely.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really sure where they were going to go with that. And then for a few minutes in theater, I was like, oh shit, they're just going to use this as a stepping stone to Doomsday or whatever else is coming next in the MCU.
I had that thought too, because there have been movies in the past that just felt like they only existed to set things up. Mm-hmm. And the complaint was like they forgot to make a movie while setting up the next movies. Mm-hmm. This one, I do, like if I step back and think about it, yeah, they were just setting up next things. But they also told a story and like made a movie within that. Mm-hmm. So ultimately, I like it. I'm not going to say like, oh, it's the best thing that's ever been made. It's not. There's a lot of plot holes to it. There's things that don't really, they feel out of world, so to speak. I'm having trouble remembering who it is. Who...
It's almost as if Peter Parker has been completely wiped from your mind.
Right.
I mean, I applaud the movie. This could have been the stone that sunk the entire movie.
Yeah.
They had to come up with, how are we repositioning Spider-Man with no one remembering Peter Parker and essentially not being able to tie into any of the things that they did in the previous movies. It's not easy to find a way to do that transition without it just becoming a bloated movie that tries so hard to deal with that transition that it just sinks the entire movie. So they decided to, let's just sort of like rapid fire accelerate. Ned and MJ are away at college and MIT, and for 4 years, Peter Parker is basically, I'm just going to be full-time Spider-Man. So it's a lot of like very short vignettes of him doing street level crime fighting and working with the police and just being a friendly neighborhood spider and working through stuff while occasionally checking in on Instagram or whatever of how Ned and MJ are doing. They could have not wasted. They could have chosen to spend a lot more time on that. I think it was a good decision to just shrink that down into a fairly quick beginning of a movie. I didn't really think it was all that great, but I applaud the decision to not let that overwhelm the movie.
Yeah. They did a good job of like, what does it mean if people don't remember who Peter Parker is? And that was an ongoing theme because it kind of had to be.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I expected out of it that I didn't get, I somehow did a fantastic job of putting on blinders and earmuffs leading up to this movie. There were a couple things that I did know that I forgot, thankfully, like Sadie Sink being in it. I completely forgot she was in it, so I didn't have that burden. But I did know Hulk was going to be in it.
Oh, okay.
I did know that, and so I was expecting somewhere in there, because it's straight from the comic books of when everybody forgot who Peter Parker was in the comic books, that Hulk remembers, Banner forgot. We didn't really get that. Kind of did to a certain extent, but not, there's like, in the books, there's like a full conversation between them where like Hulk just like casually calls him Peter. He's like, wait, you know who I am? He's like, yeah, Banner forgot, Hulk remembers.
Which they kind of allude to, but I guess it was really hard for them to lean into that because in the MCU, mostly Peter/Spider-Man has interacted with Bruce Banner. The Hulk hasn't really been the Hulk that much around Spider-Man in these movies.
Yeah.
So it would have been harder for them to lean into that. Because even in Infinity War, when Peter got snapped away, Banner is just Banner in the Hulkbuster outfit. He's not being the Hulk. I guess during Civil War, maybe? What's Hulk?
I don't think Hulk was in
actually,
Civil War.
and that's right too. Hulk was taken out, so he wasn't. So yeah, this Spider-Man should have only the most superficial understanding of who Hulk is. He knows who Banner is, and in those movies, he did interact with Banner. I don't think this character in these movies has ever interacted with the Hulk.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
I think you're right. Like,
But I do buy into the idea.
maybe they were together at a holiday party somewhere, but
at the Tony Stark New Year's Spectacular. I'm sure, and again, not knowing the comic book, that particular comic book reference, it makes sense that when he asked everyone to forget Peter Parker, I'm a little bit confused. I don't mean to jump around too much. I knew that Hulk was going to be in it. I was immediately confused that I thought the last time we saw Hulk, he was Smart Hulk.
yeah,
Or he was like halfway between Hulk
I was
and
confused
Bruce
by
Banner.
that too.
I'm a little bit confused of where Hulk was when the Doctor Strange smell happened, because it's been a while since I watched some of the movies. In the post Endgame, at one point he was Smart Hulk, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So he was Hulk and Banner together, but in this movie he's just Banner. I'm a little confused.
I don't remember. Have we even? Yeah, because he was Smart Hulk and She Hulk. I think that was the last time we saw him, wasn't it?
I think so. When does he show up with his son? Is that She-Hulk?
Yeah.
At the end of She-Hulk, he shows up with his son. I think that's the last time. We're weirdly dwelling on an incredibly minor part of this movie. Because there are very few times, because the movie does do a good job of making it very clear that truly no one remembers Peter Parker. Because Jean Grey, one of the times when she inhabits MJ, she even remarks, oh, there's nothing of you in here. And if you wanted to misread that of her just being cruel, later in the movie, MJ even apologizes and says, like, I have no idea who you are. I do not have any memories of the woman you know.
So according to my quick search here, Banner, he's using the inhibitor that's kept him in human form in order to try to live more normal life away from Hulk.
Okay. So he wanted to be less Smart Hulk, just all Banner. Okay.
Apparently. We'll buy that for now, I guess. We'll let it go and talk about Spider-Man.
But to say, yeah, that was an unnecessary. But I mean, that it is one example of, like, what I had said before, it's like, why can't we just have a Spider-Man movie? Is when non-Spider-Man characters enter the movie, it was a distraction for me. I was immediately confused by Banner going, why aren't you Smart Hulk? I have not seen the second season of the Daredevil TV show. So it's like, Frank Castle's here? I know he was in season 1. I don't know if or how that show interacts or if this is Frank from there. So it's like, oh, where's Frank the last time I saw him? And then we were always joking about, it's like, why didn't, like, the new Avengers get involved into Daredevil? Again, I haven't seen the second season. But then Yelena shows up talking about the new Avengers and how he's dealing with small potatoes and she deals with big potatoes. I was again kind of confused, but it's like, it kept making me think of the MCU. I kept like going, okay, wait a minute. So what's happening when? It kept pulling me out of the Spider-Man aspects of the movie. Because the things I haven't seen at all, like the second season of Daredevil, or have not seen recently, I'm like, I'm forgetting where we are in the MCU.
I guess also you probably haven't seen that quote-unquote movie, Punisher movie.
I did not, no.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't know, I'm assuming that this is set after those things. I didn't see either one of those.
Yeah, it seems to be.
I mean, obviously this is set after the new Avengers movie, which I did see. So I understood the new Avengers movie and why Yelena's there. And I know that there's also a quick time jump.
New Avengers? Are you talking about Thunderbolts?
Yeah, the new Avengers.
Oh, that's right.
It's
They did
Thunderbolts,
change the name.
Asterix, the new Avengers.
That's right. I forgot about the retitling.
The retitling after opening weekend. I think they always had an asterisk on the poster, and people were like, why the fuck is there an asterisk on the poster? Because at the very end of the movie, they get called the new Avengers.
I don't pay attention to the socials.
But then also I know we very rapidly go through 4 years after the events of No Way Home because Ned and MJ are at MIT. So it kept making me think, okay, so there's a 4-year time span, but how does this relate to the other MCU stuff? And then we'll get into Jean Grey. Jean Grey added a whole other level of confusion for me. So that's what I mean. It's like the first half of this movie kept pulling me away from Spider-Man because I kept getting into asking some of these questions.
Yeah. I did not ask those questions. I just went with it.
So this is one of the questions I asked you off mic. This was one of the other things. This was Spider-Man related, but I was confused. I was like, okay, so he's basically full-time Spider-Man for 4 years. Does he have a job?
Yeah.
How's he paying his rent? How's he paying for Evie and all of his fancy computer equipment and all of the tech he needs to make his web shooters and all of the other stuff? Did Tony Stark's bank account not forget Peter Parker?
Yeah, that was kind of where I went with it. Is like, okay, people forgot who Peter Parker was, but like on paper, like in digital form, he still existed and he still had everything that Tony gave him. So I'm assuming he's just living off of that.
Wouldn't like Happy or Piper be like
Pepper?
I always say Piper. I do not know why I always make that mistake. I was just in my head, it's like, is it Piper or is it Pepper?
Must be all the pots.
It must be all the pots. Boom. Wouldn't Happy or Pepper have been like, who the fuck's this Peter Parker that has a whole bunch of money?
Why would they be looking at his...
Because wouldn't they have been in control of his finances after Tony died?
Yeah, but that happened a long time ago. Why would they like go back? And like he set it up like,
wasn't that also the weird?
They kind of set it up as like it was like for school.
Because wasn't that also the weird thing about No Way Home, that Happy knows Aunt May through Spider-Man, but doesn't know who Peter Parker is, even though Peter is May's nephew? Yeah. This was like one of my side comments I had said just before we started recording. It's like, if you ignore plot holes or what you could think are plot holes if you think about them too much, and some of the convenient storytelling, then you can enjoy this movie more.
I think you're thinking about Pepper going back through Tony's finances for the last 10 years is a little overthinking it.
Well, then I was even asking, okay, if he has money, did he go to college? For 4 years?
So that was my question, because he went to Empire State University in the books.
Yeah, sweatshirt.
And he had an Empire State University sweatshirt on when he went to Empire State University to talk to Professor Banner.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he did go to school there.
He did say he was a grad student, which could have just been a lie.
But in the books, he was a grad student.
Which is true.
So, yeah. It's just not movie material to watch him go to class.
Again, he is really smart, but you would have thought that he would have also had to have been educated as well. Again, this is going back to my point before. It's like, this easily could have been a rock that weighed this movie down if they tried to spend a lot of time explaining these things. And it's like, nope, he's just been full-time Spider-Man. No one remembers who Peter Parker is. He's lonely, and he's basically cyber-stalking Ned and MJ. For 4 years, and they come back to New York after they've graduated from MIT.
Yeah, I feel like that was the decision in the movie making process of like, you know what, let's not even try to explain it, because the more we try to explain it, the more confusing it's going to be.
Yeah.
So let's just blow past it.
Exactly.
Yep. And does it matter if he's in college or not right now? No, not really. Let's just focus on him being Spider-Man 24/7, buying flowers every day for Aunt May. I don't know if that's supposed to be every year or if it's supposed to be...
I know. A lot of flowers. Like, flowers last more than a day, but he did buy a lot of flowers. But I could also see it being like a routine.
Yeah.
Like a daily, routine. And he's
maybe weekly or something.
Weekly or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's the other thing too, is like, they didn't spend a lot of time, like, yeah, he's your friendly neighborhood spider. He's working with the police. He's solving street level crimes, not like Avengers level crimes. And he's doing it a lot.
Yeah.
And I mean, and even though no one knows who Peter Parker is, Spider-Man, everyone still remembers who Spider-Man was.
Yeah.
And he is still a beloved street level superhero in New York. And
you get that nice montage of him fighting some of his classic villains.
Right.
And ones that you don't normally see in movies, which was kind of nice.
Yeah, like Tombstone and Boomerang.
Yeah. And Scorpion. I mean, Scorpion's not really... I mean,
He's
was
in
in
it a little
earlier...
bit more than the other two are.
Yeah. Is he, though?
Yeah, because he captures him, and then Jean Grey repossesses him and gets him out again.
I meant previous movie. I mean... like,
previous Tom Holland movies, at least.
He was never in any of the other movies either, was he?
No, that's what I meant.
I mean, Tobey Maguire or Andy Garfield, like, he's never been in a Spider-Man movie.
Oh, I was going off of your thing of villains that you don't typically see in these Spider-Man movies. I
meant anything Spider-Man movie
my bad.
Like animated stuff, but not movies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think they did a good job of that, and I had a fear that they were gonna like gloss over and like suddenly make certain people remember who he is again, and I think they did a good job of like, no, they really don't remember him at all.
Mm-hmm.
Even when they do remember him, they don't remember him.
Again, I avoided spoilers. I knew the Hulk was in the movie. For some strange reason, I thought this was going to be a Sinister Six movie. So when I saw Scorpion, I was like, oh, are we going to see like a montage in Act 1 where he basically captures some of the members of the Sinister Six, and then maybe the ones from previous movies, or just having other people come in and play them? Then the latter half of the movie was going to be the Sinister Six was going to break out of jail, and it was going to be him versus the Sinister Six. That was a complete fabrication of my mind. I have no idea where that came from.
Yeah, I don't either.
But I was like, okay, it's not that.
I actually kind of had to worry about that. So like when we were in line at the theater, I looked over and I saw they had a sweatshirt, Spider-Man Brand New Day, that had silhouettes of villains in it. And I kind of joked to you, I was like, yeah, I avoided spoilers until I saw that sweatshirt. Now I know more about it than I did before, anytime before. And there was a few of them that I'm like, oh, that looks like leading up to Sinister Six, which they might be. Very well could be, which they've been kind of hinting at throughout multiple series of movies. But I think they did a good job of like holding on to that. Nobody remembers who Peter Parker is, and they don't need to remember who Peter Parker is. It is a brand new day, so to speak.
And then the most important people who knew who Peter Parker was, other than Ned and MJ, are dead.
Yeah, which makes him so lonely.
It does make him so lonely.
And there was a lot of focus on the loneliness of being Spider-Man, the focusing too much on your job, which, I mean, I'm sure there's probably metaphors there that's supposed to be of that, about like if you focus too much on one thing of your life, then you lose out on everything else about life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what a lot of this was about, like the subtext, and not really some bold text of you focus too much on it, you're going to miss out on your life. You need to have a personal life. You need to do something with yourself. Enjoy some aspects of life. It's not all about work.
And they try to come back around to that at the end, which we can get back to. But they do really, it is focused on, he's basically trying to, well, if the world forgot Peter Parker, I guess I might as well too, and I'll just be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And that's basically how the beginning of the movie is.
And again, going back to what I was saying about it's kind of the most Spider-Man-y thing. Like, that's kind of what I meant. Like, the more he focuses on Spider-Man, the more Peter suffers.
Mm-hmm.
And now that nobody remembers Peter, Peter doesn't exist to him anymore either.
Mm-hmm.
He is just Spider-Man.
And again, it doesn't last for very long. But like you had said earlier, it's like, if it was drawn out more, it probably wouldn't have been a very interesting movie.
Yeah.
But they did enough work to lay that groundwork.
Yeah, I think they balanced it really well. Because if they had focused too much on Peter being lonely and by himself and stuff, it would have leaned too much into some of the Tobey Maguire aspects of that I feel like ruined some of those movies where they focused too much on that, on the unlucky Peter Parker stuff.
Mm-hmm. I kind of see the story as having 3 parts to it. So part 1 kind of has that catching us up on what's happened after No Way Home and all that stuff, and then his full-time Spider-Man type of things. And then Ned and MJ come back to New York after graduating from MIT. So at the end of part 1, he actually has an encounter with them, goes to a house party that they're having, and runs into them. We see at that point they have no idea who he is. And then he has sort of like an emotional reaction when he sees MJ kiss her new boyfriend. And then, oh no. And then basically towards the end of, although again, we'll get back into the breadcrumbs of the Jean Grey story have already been laid, but the end of that first part, that apparently we're supposed to see that as an emotional trigger for his spider mutation thingy.
Yeah, they kind of threw a line of like, yeah, the enhanced emotions triggered the
increase in the spider arachnid hormones or
hormones.
something.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah, the arachnid hormones of it, which, okay, fine. They kind of talked about, spiders having 3 phases of life, and one of them, going to adulthood, and kind of showed him reacting like, oh shit, am I molting? Like, what's going on? Which leads to something that you had said that you had a problem with that they didn't do.
Well, I had a problem, but I also was kind of grateful for it. I'm not particularly fond of this storyline in the comic books and animation of him. I don't remember all the specifics from the source material, but he goes through this like metamorphosis where it's not just the heightened senses, but like his body physically changes. Like he has like additional spider legs grow out of like his midsection so that he actually has 8 legs. So he has like 2 extra legs coming out of the side of his body. And I think there was even like other like him transforming more into like a spider, kind of like the guy in Spider Noir that was kind of like half spider, half human.
Yeah.
That type of like really intense body morphia type of thing, which I think in the comics and animation he goes to the lizard for help, right?
Depends on the story.
Depends on the story. Actually, there are other people. We don't need to go down that road. I think that's also where Morbius and other people. Never mind. Comics and source material doesn't matter. I was thinking, oh no, is that what we're doing next? It's like I've never been particularly fond of that storyline in the comics. And they kind of like start to go there, and they really kind of decide to emphasize, oh, I'm starting to have organic webs like Peter 2, because that was one of the jokes from No Way Home. And then he just has like his senses are overwhelmed, and then that's kind of like the end of, or towards the end of the first part of the story.
The first part of the story, I didn't think was bad. And I think that's actually where I was like, meh about the movie, is that whole first section of the story. It just felt like it drug on and didn't really do anything. Usually in a movie, that's setting up like, here's who the villain is. Here's where the good guy is at. Here's what's setting up, like, the story is starting to get set up. And this time it's just kind of setting up like, here's where the good guy's at. Good luck on the rest.
And I agree with that. He's about to go see Dr. Banner, but he also has gone to see Yelena at that point, because the beginning of the mystery of the who's jumping into people's bodies or taking over people's bodies thing, which we're going to get to, is a mystery that he's trying to solve. And he goes to Yelena for help, and we get the first introduction of the Avengers deal with big potatoes. You deal with small potatoes. This is your problem, not my problem. But again, and then he goes to talk to Banner, and then on top of what you just said, it's like, what is this movie starting? Is this a Spider-Man movie? Are we doing something else? Like I said, the second half of the movie is better for me than the first half of the movie.
Yeah. The first half, I felt like, I kept thinking, I was like, is this like a detective movie? Like, what's...
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not really a Spider-Man thing. And so that's where I was probably confused too. Is like
Mhm.
it didn't go the way I normally see a Spider-Man movie going, Spider-Man story going.
And if we didn't have the spider mutation thing and he was only working on the detective aspect, kind of spider noir like detective aspect of trying to figure out what was going on with who was in the tank and trying to get into damage control, then maybe it would have been a bit more streamlined. But I was kind of struggling with like it just seemed like a few too many things were going on at once. The second half of the movie does bring everything together. So I'm not trying to say it becomes a mess. But I was really struggling in the first half of the movie holding things together. And then to my like convenient storytelling, one of my examples of convenient storytelling, he goes to talk to Dr. Banner. They talk about how his inhibitor helps him not be the Hulk. And he's like, well, theoretically, couldn't you make like a universal inhibitor? Yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then Peter goes home and just starts making one. And again, going back to it's like, where's he getting? Okay, maybe Stark left him billions of dollars. And I know he's a scientist. He's really smart. But really, I'm just going to go make one. And yeah, he goes through a couple of prototypes and stuff like this. Like, wow, okay. But again, I understand if you go too deep, then that also could be a stone that would weigh the movie down.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is a little bit, they create a problem and then a convenient solution to that problem, which again, comes back around with the tie-in that happens later in the movie. But it's like, I don't know what's this movie trying to do? What's this movie doing?
Yeah, that was like right away when he started asking Banner those questions about the inhibitor. I'm like, oh, we're getting the collars.
Yeah, exactly. The collars to go on mutants.
Yeah.
And I was like, and again, to the movie's credit, the second part of the movie, which is where we start to get into the Jean Grey stuff, they did a really good job of delaying the revelation that it was Jean Grey.
So that was actually where I was going. I was like, yeah, the whole, like, think it's a mystery movie, and like, oh, detective, we got to figure out who it is. And it's like right when I started thinking, I'm like, oh, that's who it is. Okay, and then what's the rest of the movie? It's not just trying to figure out who the bad guy is. And
I had the same problem with you. It's like I figured out, I avoided spoilers. I remembered that Sadie Sink was in the movie, and a few minutes before the name Jean Grey appears on the screen, this is again was distracting me from the Spider-Man thing. It's like I was like, does Spider-Man have a villain that has mental powers or telepathy or possesses people? Is this like someone that I'm not familiar with? And then they didn't let us hear Sadie Sink's voice until almost just right before we see her face.
mm-hmm.
And then as soon as I heard her voice, it's like, oh, it can't be Jean Grey. Is it Jean Grey? It can't be Jean Grey. And then like a few minutes later, it's Jean Grey. And then I was like, huh? And then I was on your point. It's like, oh, so the inhibitors are the mutant callers. What is this movie about?
Yeah.
Is this an X-Men Origins movie?
And I did not figure out it was Jean Grey. It was kind of I thought I'm running through my Rolodex of Spider-Man villains. I'm like, are they doing something different with the hood? Is it the Purple Man? Like, are they changing up something else? Like, I'm trying to figure out what it is. There's a couple of them I'm like, oh, nope, that's a DC villain. I don't know, that's not that person. And then when they show Sadie Sink, and I'm like, oh, she kind of looks just like Jean Grey. Who's the villain here?
And when I say I figured it out, I came to the conclusion that I must be wrong. Because I was like, oh, it can't be Jean Grey. Because that's not how Jean Grey's powers work. Plus also, mutants aren't in this MCU yet. Outside of multiverse-y stuff. It's like,
And that was the thing. Is like I wasn't even remotely thinking X-Men, because why would X-Men be in here now when they're supposed to show up later? Yeah, I don't know. Once they got to the end, to your point, they tie it all together and then they make it fit and then make it work.
The third act saves this movie because the first two acts I was just very, very confused.
Yeah, to me it felt out of place until the end when it sums up. And to your point earlier. Oh, that's not how her powers work. I was actually really mad about that. And still am. Like, I've been kind of holding back on it.
You think it should be 34 feet, not 33 feet.
Right. The whole thing of, like, jumping from person to person, no more than 33 feet to jump from person to person. I'm like, that's not how fucking telepathy works. She doesn't have to jump from person to person. That doesn't make sense at all. If there's a distance, it would be a distance from her, not person to person within a distance. That does not make even a little bit of sense. Even if she didn't have her telekinesis yet, only had telepathy and only had limited amounts of telepathy, the 33 feet thing jumping from person to person does not make sense.
Which is actually the thing that you explained to me after the movie that made sense, because I was overly focused on the 33 feet thing. And I thought that when Spider-Man traps her in the helicopter guy thing high in the sky, it's like, oh, well, there's nobody up here within 33 feet of you that you could jump into. And you pointed out, it's like, so what? Actual Jean Grey can just move herself over to where MJ is.
Right.
It doesn't matter that the person that she was temporarily possessing or mind jumped into doesn't have anyone within 33 feet of them. So that just confused me in terms of, oh, is that a plot hole? No. As well as the fact that I was even having a hard time with, like, that tank that was being chased at the beginning of the movie is moving down the street a lot faster than 33 feet at a time, but she managed to stay in control of the woman in the tank that entire time. She must have been mind jumping down pedestrians along the side of the street while the tank was careening down the street.
Well, she was already in the mind of the driver, so she wasn't having to jump at all.
Oh, so it's not like she can't jump to another person. She doesn't have to be within 33. Oh, okay. See that I got tripped up on the rules.
Yeah.
The whole 30, once they introduced the whole 33 feet thing, I was just like, I was confused.
So
I mean, I know it makes sense when you stop and think about it after the movie, kind of, but to me it was confusing.
Yeah. Other thing that's really bothering me.
Okay.
Really, really bothering me. How the hell did she find out who Peter Parker is? That Spider-Man's Peter Parker and who Peter Parker is. Because she went into his brain briefly, so maybe heard Peter Parker somewhere in his brain.
She broke into his apartment and read the letter.
How did she know
to
go, like, Peter Parker existed to go to his apartment? Because she just briefly says, oh, it's easy to figure out for somebody like me. But nobody fucking knows who Peter Parker is, so she would have no way of figuring that out.
Plus, at no point does Evie warn Spider-Man that, hey, there's someone in your apartment.
Right. I mean, that too.
Yeah, that's actually an excellent point. I had talked about, like, ignoring plot holes and convenient storytelling. That actually makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah. Of all the other parts, that's the part that bothers me. I'm like, all right, even if she got his name out of his head, there's no other recollection of anybody to figure out where he lived.
And she couldn't have gone into the brain of someone who knew Peter Parker was Spider-Man because no one remembers Peter Parker.
Exactly. And, let's just look at everybody named Peter Parker in New York City, because there's only one. I'm sure there's only one Peter Parker in all of New York City.
There might be a Peter Benjamin Parker out there. who she hired as a private detective to help her figure it out. That's an excellent point. It's a great dramatic turn in the movie.
Yeah.
Because one of the only positive aspect of everyone forgetting Peter Parker is Spider-Man doesn't have to worry about protecting his secret identity because no one knows he's Peter Parker. And also, no one remembers Peter Parker. Plus, the people who would be most affected by it are dead. But the fact that when she just says, hi, Peter, and then it's just like that, the only person who remembers me is the apparent villain of the movie. And also at that point, it was just before we heard Sadie Sink's voice. But yeah, you're right. It makes no sense. And again, the way that the movie explains it is while that conversation is being had on the street, she's standing in Peter Parker's apartment.
Yeah.
How did she know to get there?
Yep.
Makes no sense. It's good for the movie. Good dramatic.
100%. Yep.
Good dramatic moment. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And then even then, so, okay, fine. She finds out in reading that letter about MJ. Who the fuck's MJ?
Yeah.
From MJ, you find out who exactly she is and where she lives. I'm pretty sure her full name and address were not in the letter.
Exactly. So there's definitely plot holes.
There is. Even more than I even realized that there were.
Well, it's funny. It's like, I didn't realize your plot holes. I never thought of it. This is why we do this.
Yes. These are wow. If I had actually noticed that earlier, I would have had even more problems with the first half of the movie. But yeah, I was having a real hard time piecing things together. Which then leads me to my very next question. Why was Spider-Man immune to Jean Grey?
I think they say briefly it had to do with, like, because he's not 100% human.
Oh.
I think there's another throwaway line about it, I think. Because she says something like, oh, you're not...
You're like other people or something?
Something like that.
Because she was surprised that he was able to push her out. And he's like, how did you do that? I guess it's because you're not like other people. Yeah, something throwing
Yeah.
around like that. Because even like at damage control, which at some point gets involved, the guy at damage control says, "Oh, we need your help, Spider-Man, because you're the only one who can capture her because you're immune to her control."
And how did he know that?
Exactly. I was like it's like a lot of really convenient storytelling. Because again, taking the time to connect all of these dots wouldn't it be particularly interesting
Yeah.
to, you have to just kind of go with it.
Yeah, I wonder what was cut out.
Yeah, I mean, it is still a 2 hour and 25 minute movie, but it's like a lot of bending over backwards to make some of these things connect the dots a little bit more
But if you just go along
for the ride. And again, appreciate the fact that if you can just ignore the potholes and convenient storytelling, it's surprising how well the overall story does hold together.
Yeah.
But as you can tell, it's kind of like Frank Castle shot the first 2 parts of the movie up with bullets. Or perhaps Doctor Strange's spell somehow affected the storytelling consistencies of the first half of this movie.
Yeah, I did like the Hulk introduction. I also thought was kind of interesting because you hear the loud banging and you're like, ooh, what's that?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what's hitting it. That's the one character I did know was going to be in it. Didn't even think about that being Hulk punching that safe door to get in. So I thought that was done really well. Kind of came out of nowhere. The usage of Punisher was great. I know other people have talked about like it's awesome that Punisher's the funny one and nobody else is really telling jokes. I would argue that Spider-Man should have been telling more jokes.
Yeah, maybe he was just too sad and lonely and too depressed.
Could be.
That why he
So
wasn't quippy.
that's my only complaint about the portrayal of Spider-Man in this is like he wasn't quippy enough.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't as distracting in the fights as he should have been. But whatever. He's in a bad place right now.
He's kind of stuck.
I forgot where we're at. Where were we at?
We were at the point where we were just transitioning into, okay, now he's discovered that Jean Grey, Spider-Man doesn't know who Jean Grey is.
Right.
And probably at least some of the moviegoers didn't know who Jean Grey
There
was.
was an audible gasp in the theater when you see her name.
For the people who knew.
Yeah.
And I'm even like, my dumbass brain, again, I was tripping all over myself. I was like, for a split second, I was like, is this some fucked up Madam Web variant? I was like going through so many things in my head. And then, of course, when it comes up, Jean Elaine Grey, I was like, is Jean Elaine Grey different than Jean? I was just like, yeah, I was just so confused when I finally got to that part.
Yeah, I read that. I was like, oh, that explains why she looks like Jean Grey.
So I guess the other part to talk about here, which was done well, but it was folded into he's trying to get to MJ before Jean Grey can. And we have the scene where a lot of people, I immediately saw it for what it was, but there were audible gasps and audible expressions of sorrow in the theater we were in when he has his first Spider-Man one-on-one with MJ, and she starts saying, it's like, I remember you, I know you somehow, don't I know you, blah, 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 blah. And we think that MJ remembers Peter, and they're hugging, and then you hear her say, because Jean Grey is talking through her, yeah, hold her, Spider-Man, enjoy it. And then people are like, oh no. In the theater, there were people who were like,
Yeah.
oh no, that's so. I was like, immediately to me, it's like, he's being fucked with. I mean, it was well done.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was obvious that was not.
Yeah, the whole time I was like, oh, something's wrong here. Something's not right here. And then so I'm like, yep, there it is. All right. Because they did do it well enough that it's like, oh, he made it to her before she got there. But then again, it's like, oh, the character's not quite right. Something's a little off on it. I don't know why I didn't think about it earlier that, oh, it was her. I just thought maybe like, I don't know. I was just going for the ride. I wasn't trying to figure it out. But I wasn't surprised when it happened either. Like, I wasn't one of the, oh, no, people. I was like, yep, there it is. Okay.
Which again, to the movie's credit, I'll come back to this later. To the movie's credit, it doesn't take the easy way out. It alludes to more of an expression of Peter's hope that maybe somehow, because of how strong of his connection is with MJ, that maybe somehow she actually does remember him.
Yeah.
Even though she can't. And then even when Jean Grey says, talking through her, it's like, oh yeah, there's nothing in here. I bounced around her brain. There's no thoughts about you whatsoever. No thoughts, no memories, nothing about you at all. Which you almost initially think maybe she's just lying. But then later when we actually have them later talk, when MJ says, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not this woman that you fell in love with. I have no idea. I have no memories of you. That's a whole other person. That's not me.
Yeah.
So she wasn't lying to them. So kudos for them to not to take the easy way out.
But what you said there is also another problem that I have with this movie, is that Jean was fucking with him.
Yes.
Jean is not that cruel.
Yeah.
The character.
Mm-hmm.
And the way she was taunting him and everything going through it, like, that's not a Jean thing to do. Like, even in a traumatic thing, she would be just very direct into her goal. It wouldn't just be, like, trying to make Spider-Man upset.
Right.
So that part, I didn't like that. But it makes for a good movie, I guess.
And it makes for a good movie. I mean, she's trying to rescue her sister.
Yeah.
And I guess
and that's what I mean. Like, she'd be focused.
She would be focused
Fucking
on
with
that.
Spider-Man would not be a thing that she would want to do. It would just be like, go away, I'm going to do my thing.
Mm-hmm. Or at the very least, feign a threat to MJ and Ned and say, I need your help. If you don't help me, I can hurt you.
Yeah.
But having her fuck with him maliciously was out of character.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I didn't really have any other problems that I could think of. I think that was about it.
Overall?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll come back to some things at the end, but I mean, the fake, and this was where I like looked at my phone. It's like, this is over way too soon. The fake end of the movie, when we still had like about 55 minutes left in the movie, when basically, we can talk about this part. Now we're into the second half of the movie where all the things we just talked about were past. When they go to damage control because Jean Grey's trying to break in, and Frank and him go there, and Jean brings the Hulk. Brings Bruce Banner, throws the thing he has that's stopping him from beating the Hulk off, and then they have to basically fight the Hulk while she's trying to break into the safe. I actually did like the fight sequences when it was Spider-Man and Punisher teaming up to attack the Hulk.
Mm-hmm. I liked all the fight sequences, but yeah, that was especially good.
Yeah,
Yep.
Especially when like Frank just comes in like screaming and firing his gun
Yeah.
at the Hulk.
And him being like, what are you doing? You're not going to hurt him.
And then at one point when they like split up and like the Punisher's going to go after the girl and Spider-Man's like, that's because you don't want to take on the Hulk, right? It's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Which also kind of leads to a thing that you were saying, though, a little bit ago about, like, Spider-Man versus Hulk. Like, why is that even a fight?
I thought it was more even. Maybe I'm just wrong. It was more even than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. So, like, in the books, that is a legitimate thing. Like, Spider-Man, like, any of the big, strong people, like, they hate fighting Spider-Man because they can't hit him because he's so agile.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also so incredibly strong himself. Depending on who he's fighting, he holds back a lot. I like that they kind of bring out a lot of his strength in this. Like, they hit it behind the mutate.
Yeah,
thing.
like, I don't think did he go all black eye against the Hulk, or was he just normal Spider-Man at that point?
I think it was normal Spider-Man
Okay.
against the Hulk.
He manages to get through to him because the Hulk at one point it looks like it could just easily crush his head. But I thought that he should have been a little bit more fucked up than he was fighting the Hulk. The one, speaking about how it was weird that Punisher was used as comic relief, I thought it was dumb. But when Punisher gets taken, I was like, why would you send Punisher after Jean Grey? Jean Grey is just going to mind control Punisher,
Yeah.
which she immediately does. And then you have that one thing where basically the Punisher trying to talk like he's a girl because he's been taken over by Jean Grey is like, and he sees like the Hulk is gone like all Mega Hulk. And he says like, "Oh, good luck with that, Peter." like a lilting girl. Which again, in any of the other people she's taken over, her voice never comes out of them. They just talk the way they talk. But they had Frank Castle do a girly voice when she takes over his body. I laughed, but I was like, "Fuck, I shouldn't have laughed. That was so stupid." But I still laughed at it.
Yeah.
But it was another example of he was used for comedy. And then he becomes like Giganto Hulk, who should have basically they showed him ripping a huge part of the building away. But it seemed like the Hulk should have just like leveled the whole fucking building.
I mean, he could have.
Yeah.
Easily could have. I thought it was all good. Being that big, he should have been a little less in control, maybe. But yeah, no, that's usually kind of how those fights go. Like, it's like Hulk wins, but it's almost a standstill. Usually they just kind of tire him out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how Spider-Man survives. Like, he just dodges until they're tired and like keeps webbing them, tying them up and stuff like that, which is kind of what he did.
Mm-hmm. At least he didn't go, hey, big guy, the sun's getting low.
Right.
He didn't try to pull that one out. But the fake ending of the movie, so Hulk falls, blah, 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 blah. And then he manages to catch up to Jean Grey and get the inhibitor chip on her before she kills the damage control guys. And that's why I say I kind of like the fake ending of the movie. Okay, the Hulk's off the board now. Frank's been released. And now Damage Control is thanking Spider-Man for turning over Jean Grey to them with the inhibitor chip. And hey, okay, movie's over. Spider-Man goes away until he figures out, hey, wait a minute, that doesn't quite make sense.
I didn't even see that as a fake end. So I was like, okay, we're halfway through.
Oh, that's why when I looked at my phone, it's like, oh, this is another 55 minutes. It's like, there's a lot. Because after that, he's like, goes and like builds Star Wars toys with Ned and stuff. It's like, okay, we're taking a little bit of a pause, but it's like, this can't be like how the movie ends. It's like, this is kind of a weird way for the movie to end.
Yeah.
And then here's where, and it's at that point when he realizes that he was lied to by Damage Control and he has to go back there and all that type of stuff. That's what I kind of feel really is sort of the beginning of Act 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is actually the best part of the movie. And this is what, for me, again, like I said earlier, saves the movie for me. Because with the exception of a few things at the end, the rest of the movie kicks it into a whole higher gear. And he goes to Damage Control, and it's one of the few times that he kind of does a quippy thing, like before he has to fight the guards. He's like, oh, let me stretch out first. Guys, no, it's important to stretch. I'm not in high school anymore. Let me limber up a little bit. And so he's quipping a little bit, and then he's taking out the guards. And then one of the best fights, I think, in the entire movie is him versus the Hand.
Yeah.
I think that entire fight sequence was awesome.
I was worried when I saw the Hand was in it. I was kind of worried about that. I'm like, oh, what are they going to do here? Is that also going to bring a bunch of other people? So I was actually worried this is going to end up a full Avengers movie. With how many people it looked like was going to keep coming into it. I was like, okay, so Daredevil's going to be in it because the Hand's in it. Oh, that means the Defenders are probably going to be in this too, so they can build that back up to be later. Like, I expected all kinds of stuff because I thought I remembered seeing something about the Defenders being in this. Maybe that's one of the things that got cut.
I don't know. Like I said, I avoided spoilers.
It was one of those things that, like, I had seen. It was like a picture of all of the Defenders in a car together on the set or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And it was kind of one of those things, like, just scrolling through social media and, like, oh, what's that picture? God damn it! Which is usually how I get spoilers.
Mm-hmm. And I thought, and here's where they also did a very good payoff because they had spent some time earlier in the movie of him struggling before he got the inhibitor chip working, which he got that working with some help from MJ. And the fact that it very conveniently, Frank Castle has all the components that he needed in his hideaway for
bomb making.
For bomb making that he could use to, again, also very conveniently, very quickly build an inhibitor chip that was going to work, blah, 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 blah. Plus, then when that gets broken, we get a payoff of some of the somewhat comedic things of his inability to control the organic webs and his inability to control the transformations kind of blends together in the final part of that fight sequence when Jean Grey, basically when she's being experimented on by Damage Control and they deactivate the inhibitor chip because they're trying to map her brain patterns while she's doing her jumpy things so that they can learn how to give that power to somebody else. And that basically makes her go nuts. At first, for a brief moment, it's like, she ain't gonna fucking go Dark Phoenix on us, is she? But no, she just basically says, oh, all of the other Jean Grey powers that minus Phoenix level powers that I have them now, which was actually good because it's like if they didn't do that, it would have been like, this is not Jean Grey, and now it's like, oh, here's Jean Grey.
Yeah.
Then the 33 feet becomes 1 kilometer in every direction, and she just basically controls like a whole huge part of the city. Instead of taking control of them, this kind of holds them in suspension, but she uses the Hand and others to attack Spider-Man, and she basically tries to taunt him, saying, you have to choose between, are you Peter Parker, or are you Spider-Man? And he says, I'm both. And he loses the inhibitor, and he has his full black eye stuff, superpower stuff. And again, that whole fight sequence is good. Yeah. Like using the organic webs in a really cool way of how he finally defeats the Hand. Yeah. It was cool.
I also liked now Jean Grey is fully Jean Grey. I liked how they used like an extreme emotional response to trigger it. Mm-hmm. Because that is what triggers mutant powers. And a lot of times it'll trigger secondary mutations. So I'm glad that they did that that way. I thought it was good. I was really upset with the jumping thing. That was infuriating. But where they set Jean up at the end, all right, that's closer to the Jean Grey.
Mhm.
And, they show her on a bus going north. I'm assuming north, upstate New York. She's going to the Institute.
For gifted children. Yep.
Has to be.
Which
Has
is
to
actually what we thought not to jump ahead, that's what we thought the post-credit scene was going to be. It's her like...
be. Oh, did you?
I thought one of the things it could have been
Oh,
was
yeah,
that
yeah,
she was going to get off the bus out in front of Xavier
Oh, yeah,
Academy.
Yep. So I thought you meant that's what you thought the actual end credits was.
Oh, no. Instead of the dumb end credits that we got, I
Yeah.
thought that the actual end credits was going to be her meeting.
Oh, yeah. I think I actually even said to you, like, of course, the end credit's going to be her showing up at the...
Yeah, I thought she was going to meet Charles Xavier at the end.
Yeah. I didn't think so. I thought it should just be her walking up to the sign.
At the sign.
Or the gate.
The gate or something like that.
Yep.
So yeah, she is closer to where we would think a young Jean Grey should be at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And then again, good sequence when he finally breaks in there and they're facing off and he lets her into his mind. She's like, oh, I'm stronger now. What makes you think I can't take control of you? And he's like, go ahead, come on in now. And then we get the completion again, good resonance of a scene where it's a new scene. It's set up like it's a memory, but it's not something that was in any of the previous movies, of an interaction with him and Aunt May in the early days of him being Spider-Man. And we only saw a brief moment of it, or the beginning of it earlier in the movie. And then in this part, we see the full scene. And then they do the swap out at one point when instead of Aunt May talking to Peter, it turns into Aunt May talking to Jean Grey. And then it just turns into Jean Grey talking to Peter. And again, the things that May is saying to Peter make sense for Peter, but it also makes sense for Jean Grey. I don't know, it was done well enough. I thought it was a well-executed and well-acted scenario. Like I had said earlier, it seemed like the beginning of the movie is like, where the hell is this going? It's going all over the place. They do successfully bring all of the threads back together at the end. And then, of course, from over a kilometer away with a 50 cal gun.
That's totally doable.
I know that the building was partially crumbled, so I guess he was able to see.
Yeah.
And then he basically takes the shot, thinking he's trying to shoot Jean Grey.
Yeah.
But his spidey senses go off, and he basically jumps in front of the bullet and saves Jean Grey.
Which, I mean, would have gone right through him into her. But we're not going to talk about that. Maybe it went sideways during the side, whatever.
Mm-hmm. So he's strong enough to not die fighting the Hulk. But a 50 cal round does go right through him.
I mean, he still bleeds.
Yeah. Okay.
And that would cause a fairly large hole.
Yes, a fairly large hole. And again, incredibly convenient storytelling because Frank is literally a kilometer away when he took that shot.
Yeah.
Jump cut to he's
carrying him out.
He's carrying him into an emergency room entrance. It's like by the
So-
time he got to Peter, again, at the end of the movie, they try to explain this away that Jean Grey was using, as Frank said, her voodoo to basically help Peter. So I guess it's kind of implied that she kept him from dying so that Frank could get him to the hospital, and she also kept him from dying while he was under treatment. But pretty convenient, quick cut too.
Yeah. Realistically, it was so they could get specific scenes that were from comic books that they wanted in. So, like, the whole him with a sniper rifle, that was the first appearance. It was the cover from the first appearance of Punisher was Spider-Man in the scope of sniper rifle.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Punisher carrying Spider-Man like that is from Civil War.
Oh, okay.
So, like, there's specific things that they were going for and why it had to be that way so they could get specific shots from comic books. So, okay. I mean, it didn't make sense, but whatever. They did some other stuff. Let's just go with it.
And then Peter gets to walk out of the hospital, and Frank puts on the spider mask and is dancing around like an idiot in the hospital window.
All right, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Nobody knows who Peter Parker is. Nobody knows what he looks like under the mask.
Other than the doctors who had to have treated him at the hospital. But still, they don't know who Peter Parker is.
Right.
But he did come in wearing a Spider-Man outfit.
So him walking out of the... He could just walk out of the hospital out of any door.
Right.
And nobody would know who he is. There might be like, are you Spider-Man? No, I'm here because I broke my leg. Okay.
As I joked before we started recording, obviously Frank Castle gave his insurance card to the... This is little Petey Castle. Put it on my insurance. But just so that he could leave and his anonymity is intact. And people continue to not know.
And maybe it's cut. What they should have done is he carries him into the hospital, says says something about like, oh, I don't want blah 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 working on whatever. Nobody takes off his mask, and then Claire comes in, and he recognizes Claire and is like, okay, you can do this. And she's the one that works on him. All right, cool.
Or maybe because they also heavily implied that Jean Grey was responsible for helping.
Maybe she wiped their minds.
Maybe she wiped her minds after it was done.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah. Because she was apparently using her power to help him survive and recover. Maybe she just wiped the minds of anyone in the hospital that saw his face.
Yeah. One other thing that kind of bothered me. So when Punisher's up there with the mask on, distracting and everything, doing his little dance, and then they kind of go into the room with the camera to show him doing it, and he's going,
yeah. Why?
Why?
Why are you making King Kong noises? They can't hear you.
Exactly. Like, why do you have to make those noises when? And I know the answer is so that people in the audience that didn't piece it together understand who's doing it.
Oh. If you nodded off for a second,
right?
You couldn't piece that part together.
Like maybe a small child that didn't piece it together. I don't know.
And then the movie ends with Peter goes into a cafe where Ned is, and they do the little handshake thing, and Ned says, Peter. And some people are saying, oh, did Ned remember? My opinion was no, because earlier in the movie, when Spider-Man left, MJ said, be careful, Peter. And then it's like, oh, Spider-Man's name is Peter. So I think it was just him going, he heard that Spider-Man's name is Peter. He introduces himself as Peter. Maybe the handshake thing was his muscle memory, but I don't believe that Ned in that moment remembered Peter.
If there's any comic book fans, forgive me if I'm wrong. If I remember right, when this happened in the books, when people heard his name, they remembered who he was.
Oh, really? That's kind of weird.
Yeah, there's a certain thing about that. Like they would remember who he was once they found out his name or something like that. So that's where I think they were going with it.
Because it didn't work on MJ.
And I know, and it's a possible thing of maybe it's because he is magically linked or something like that. I don't know. And I know there's a big thing on the, like, people are talking about that, like, oh, it didn't really take with him because
he used a sling ring in No Way Home.
Yeah.
So he has some type of magical ability, blah, blah, blah. I think it's just a matter of he heard the name and connected the name, which comes back to like one of my closing points. Is like they make a big deal about how the evolution of a character, no one remembers him and he's all alone. And he says, promises May and that memory and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm not going to try to do this all by myself anymore. At the end of the movie, he really isn't that much different than he was at the beginning of the movie. Yes, MJ and Ned know that this guy, Peter Parker, is also Spider-Man, but they don't remember him. So yeah, they're back in his life, which is a significant difference, a significant step forward for him, but it's not really... The character in the story has not really been moved forward too much more, because I really think all they're really setting this up for is that...
Well, now he's friends with the cop lady.
He's more friendly with the cop lady, even when he was friends with the cop lady at the beginning. But for me, it's just like, obviously, him and Ned are going to become best friends again. And I think they also were heavily implying that eventually him and MJ will get back together again. It won't be a memory of what was there before. They are starting over and building a new relationship, and that'll probably go into future movies.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not really that much further along than he was at the beginning, other than the significant change in terms of Ned and MJ at least know this guy, Peter Parker, is behind the mask, and it can go forward from here. And also the kind of ambiguous way they kind of leave his spider mutation stuff.
Yeah.
For a while, it seemed like it was a really big problem, and without the inhibitor, really bad things would happen. And then at the end, it's kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of set it up like, oh, he's got it under control now.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, again, what happens if he goes emotionally wonky again?
Mm-hmm.
What happens if blah, blah, blah? Do the arms eventually rip out of his sides? I don't know. I'm still of the opinion, and I hate doing this. I don't like looking forward and thinking like, oh, what if they do this next? But I feel like it's kind of obvious that there's going to be some sort of antagonistic thing where Ned is going to eventually go into Hobgoblin mode. And I think that's the Peter thing that was him starting to figure something out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's going to get angry and resentful about it.
Yeah, because earlier in the movie, MJ says you should tell him he'll be okay with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's the possibility that that could be coming. And as you also pointed out, the actor, no body shaming here, but the actor is noticeably in better physical condition in this movie than he has been in previous movies.
With no explanation in the movie.
Right.
So, yeah.
Could just be, hey, good for him. He's taking care of himself. Or it could be...
Could be all the body shaming he did get.
Could be all the body shaming he did get. Could also be part of it. Or it also could be behind the scenes, Marvel's like, yeah, you got to get on this nutrition and exercise program because you're going to be a hobgoblin in an upcoming movie. Or it could just be complete speculation. Who knows?
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
But again, that's why I said it's kind of weird for all of the non-Spider-Man things that happened in the movie. It didn't really, I mean, obviously things did get moved forward, but a sizable portion of this movie became a Jean Grey origin story.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just as much a Jean Grey movie as it was a Spider-Man movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also repositioning, we're assuming because it seems like everybody's in Doomsday. We're assuming he'll be in Doomsday. Obviously.
I don't know. I have so far been mostly successful at blinders and earplugs.
Yes, you did not see the Doomsday
I've seen a
trailer.
couple images that I'm upset about. But yeah, I probably weirded a lot of people out of the theater because the trailer came up and I closed my eyes, covered my ears, and hummed to myself.
And it was a long trailer. I tapped you on the shoulder when you could finally stop.
And I was so out of breath. I'm like, dude, it took forever.
It did take forever because it lingered and lingered and lingered and lingered. And the end of it really would have pissed you off. And it's like, okay, wait, nope, not yet. Okay, now.
I'm sure between now and December, I'm going to end up accidentally seeing it.
Oh, yeah. It's inevitable. Which is also why, again, I won't mention any specifics. That's why, again, it just struck me as weird that Jean Grey would be in this movie.
Yeah.
Now,
I know the X-Men are in Doomsday.
Right.
So, I'm aware of that.
But it's like a multiversy thing.
Yeah.
Because they've been in previous movies, but multiversy.
Yeah. I expect that. And I already know more than I want to know, but there's a lot of stuff I don't know. So I'm trying to keep it as little as possible.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff happens in that trailer that's not just X-Men stuff. Yeah. But I mean, I'm assuming he'll be in. I mean, it would make, if he's not, I wouldn't be surprised either because I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on there. I'm pretty sure he has to be in Secret Wars.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's what the end credits is.
Yeah, it's probably
the after credits, whatever it is. It's. Oh, he was here, and now he's out here in space. Well, yeah, because Secret Wars, he's out there now.
Right. That would be my guess.
Yep. So I'm guessing we don't see him in Doomsday. I think we see him in Secret Wars.
Yeah, because it does say Spider-Man will return, and then that does, because they already have, Doomsday is already overstuffed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it wouldn't be, and I believe Secret Wars is next year.
Yep.
So I don't think it'll be much later, which is obviously not a Spider-Man only thing, but he should be in Secret Wars. And I'm sure that probably will also be, my guess, at least one more standalone Spider-Man movie before Tom Holland. One more Tom Holland. Not before Secret Wars. I mean, Secret Wars will be the next thing, but I think that maybe after that, there'll be 2 more Spider-Man movies?
Yeah, he signed on for another trilogy.
Oh, fuck. Was this part 1?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah. Which also probably goes back to what I was saying earlier, like giving them credit for not doing the easy way out of letting Ned and MJ remember who he is, especially MJ, because it would have been a bit of a cop-out. Maybe if he had not signed that contract to do 3 more movies, maybe they would have.
Yeah.
But they got to drag that out as much as they can. But I think it's inevitable. That's part of at least where it's going.
Yeah, because they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Oh, yeah.
But in order to do Hobgoblin, they have to do Green Goblin first. So...
And there have been no goblins directly. I mean, No Way Home brought in from the other movies.
Yeah. There
has no been goblins directly. I mean, Tom Holland hasn't really done a lot of direct his own villains. Anyway.
He did Mysterio.
He did Mysterio, he did Vulture, and he did...
Lizard, right? He did Lizard, didn't he?
No, that was also No Way Home, because he did the Lizard from...
Didn't he have his own Lizard? No, I'm thinking of the Andrew Garfield's Lizard. Never mind.
Yeah, because he had Homecoming, he had Vulture, and then Far From Home, he had Mysterio. Yeah. And then No Way Home, it was villains that were borrowed from the other universes.
Yeah. Huh.
So yeah, there's been no...
My mind's broken. I don't know if I can say anything else.
Yeah, that's about, like I said, off the top. It's like the third act of the movie really saved the movie for me. It ended up being, I would say, okay, plus movie, knocking on the door of being good. If the first half of the movie was as good as the second half of the movie, then I would have called it a good movie. but I had just so many problems stumbling through the first half of the movie. That's why I can't overall call it a good movie. What's your final verdict?
For me, I think the Spider-Man and the Peter Parker of the movie are great. It is the rest of the movie that brings it down. I don't like Jean Grey being in the movie. I don't like what they did with Jean Grey in the movie, really. I was okay with Hulk and everything in that. I was okay with Punisher. They were also just kind of side characters that made appearances. Ultimately, I think I liked it. Now, I'll probably have to watch it another time or two and see what I think. It's definitely worth watching. Definitely worth watching in the theater.
Oh, yeah, it was a good theater experience.
Time will tell on it, though. I think maybe what they do with Jean later might affect my enjoyment of this movie.
Yeah, I think Sadie Sink did a good job. I'm not completely comfortable with the characterization and story of Jean Grey, but like you said, depending upon what they do later with her, I'm assuming she's going to recur her role.
Yeah, I think
Jean
she has
Grey.
full capability of playing a fantastic Jean Grey.
Yes.
It's
But,
just a matter of the writing.
Exactly. We've been burned too many times with bad X-Men movies in the past, so it really depends upon how they do that in the future, whether or not this will come back and be reevaluated at that point. Especially, hopefully, things don't go so off the rails that Marvel decides to, or Sony decides to, redo the X-Men some other way, not trying to use this Jean Grey as a thread or something like that. I can't imagine that would be where we go, but I'll reserve judgment. But I think she did good. I think Sadie Sink did a good job with what she was given in this movie, but time will tell whether or not that is actually a good Jean Grey. And like I said, almost a good Spider-Man movie. So with that, okay, thank you for listening to The Fanboy and the Hater. Please check out our archives to listen to some of our past episodes, and stay tuned every Thursday for a brand new episode.